Group buys suck, and I know it's necessary for small projects to get the funding that they need, but I do think that sometimes it gets abused. I am of the opinion that larger companies in the hobby should start fronting up the cost of their projects. Group buys push the risk of the project to the consumers who have very little recourse when a project is delayed or fails. Not to mention that waiting times are so long that by the time it's completed, sometimes you no longer want that keyboard or keycap that you bought. And this is the reason why I am starting this series, because I like buying things that are in stock and I really hate waiting. For this first video, we are looking at the KBD67 Mark II PVD Laser Edition. This was an in-stock drop last January for around $300, including the shipping to Manila. I have been wanting to get my hands on a KBD67 Mark II for a while now, since I really like the look of the KBD67. It's really sleek and I really like the side profile, so when this edition came out, I bought one. And look at that coating. It is crazy, though it is a huge fingerprint magnet. KBD fans usually offers in-stock DIY kits, so a lot of beginners in the hobby tend to buy here when they are starting to get serious. There are a lot of really good kits here, and KBD fans' quality control is usually good, so it definitely gets a recommend on my book. Keyboard accessories for this build are of course courtesy of Zion Studios PH. The KBD67 Mark II is a top mount board that comes with a brass plate. The plate does have some cuts, but I don't think it helps in making the typing experience any softer. The plate was very tight on the 8008 ink switches that I used here, and it was a nightmare getting these in. I do have a custom FR4 plate that I got from Desk Daily because I had an inkling that I may not like the brass plate here. Keycaps, of course, are GMK laser from drop.com to keep up with the theme. Drop does offer in-stock keycaps, but we are seeing more and more GMK extras from various stores, which is nice since you have more choices. The kits that I used here are a bit different. I used the Blocknet and Gaijin kits to give the keyboard a bit more flair. And this is the KBD67 Mark II Laser Edition, and it looks really good for an in-stock keyboard. That finish is really eye-catching, though I do have some issues with it. I think the top and bottom case seem to be colored differently, which I did not like. On my unit, the top case had a green hue while the bottom was purple, though it is hard to show on camera. The board, even with the weight at the back, weighed around 1.2 kilos, which is a bit on the lighter side. I had hoped it would be a bit more heftier, but I guess that is a trade-off for the relatively small profile of the board. As I've mentioned, it is really a fingerprint magnet. The finish is really shiny, and if you have sweaty hands like I do, you will leave marks on the board. Typing experience was a mixed bag. The board is relatively low with a typing angle of 6 degrees, which is fine. It is a top mount board, so typing feel was stiff, though I have started to really like top mounts recently since almost everything in the market is a gasket mount. As you heard, the brass plate was really muted and you also had a bit of case ping there, but that spacebar sounded really nice. I eventually switched to the FR4 plate, which was way better than the brass plate since it brought out the sound of the switches better. Sound test of that will be at the end of the video. Overall, I think the build was quite good for something that is in stock, though it is far from perfect. It looks really nice, though I advise you to get a custom FR4 plate to improve the acoustics. The uneven colors of the top and bottom case was a bit of a bummer, and it can really look messy with the fingerprints, but I guess that is the price that you have to pay to get that laser shine. And that is it for this video. I'll leave you with the FR4 sound test, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye!